There are moments in life when everything seems to slow down without warning. Conversations feel distant. Plans pause. Emotions rise to the surface in ways you did not expect. You may have wondered why things suddenly feel quieter, why the noise around you is fading, why you are being drawn inward instead of outward. This is not coincidence. This is not delay. This is a sacred moment of reflection, and Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection. Something is coming into view. Open this message and let the insight settle. These words are not random. They are arriving at a precise moment in your life when your spirit is ready to receive stability before revelation. Right now, there is an urgency in the spiritual realm for you to be still. Not passive, not disconnected, but grounded. There is a difference. The world teaches you to rush when uncertainty appears. It teaches you to react when clarity feels far away. But heaven operates differently. Before something comes into focus, your foundation must be strengthened. Before the veil lifts, your footing must be secure. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian not only in battle but in preparation. And preparation often looks like reflection. You may have felt unsettled recently. Thoughts circling without resolution. Emotions surfacing from places you thought were healed. Questions rising that you cannot immediately answer. Instead of seeing this as instability, understand this. You are being grounded. When something significant is about to come into view, your spirit must be anchored so that you are not shaken by what you see. Clarity without grounding can overwhelm. Revelation without stability can confuse. That is why this pause has entered your life. There is something forming just beyond your current understanding. It has been moving quietly, aligning carefully, orchestrated with precision. But before it steps fully into your awareness, you are being invited to reflect. Reflection is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is wisdom gathering itself. It is the soul breathing before stepping forward. Archangel Michael's guidance in this hour is gentle but firm. Slow down, steady your heart, and allow the dust to settle within you. You may ask, why now? Why this stillness at this specific time? Because timing matters. There are seasons when action is required, and there are seasons when grounding is required. If you move too quickly before something fully comes into view, you risk misinterpreting it. If you allow fear to define the silence, you may mistake preparation for loss. But this is not loss. This is alignment. Something is coming into view. Not something to fear, but something to understand. And understanding requires calm perception. Imagine standing in water that has been disturbed. If you try to see through it while it is still moving, everything appears distorted. But when the water becomes still, clarity emerges naturally. That is what this reflection is doing inside you. It is calming the internal water so that what is approaching can be seen clearly. There are rare moments in a spiritual journey when heaven intentionally creates space. Space to think, space to feel, space to reassess. These moments can feel uncomfortable because they remove distraction. They remove noise. They remove constant movement. But they also remove distortion. In the space, you begin to notice patterns. You begin to recognize lessons. You begin to see where strength has quietly grown inside you. Archangel Michael's presence in this message is not dramatic or loud. It is steady, protective, grounding. You are not being warned of chaos. You are being prepared for clarity. There is a difference, and that difference is everything. You may have sensed that something is shifting. Perhaps doors feel like they are quietly adjusting. Perhaps relationships feel like they are repositioning. Perhaps your own priorities are rearranging themselves without force. This is the beginning of something coming into view. But you are being asked to observe rather than react, to reflect rather than rush, to ground rather than grasp. This is important because what is about to become clear carries weight. Not heavy weight, but meaningful weight. The kind that shapes direction. The kind that answers lingering questions. The kind that confirms what your spirit has suspected but could not yet articulate. And when it comes into focus, you will need steadiness to receive it properly. So take this moment seriously. Do not dismiss this inner pause as boredom or stagnation. It is sacred. It is intentional. It is protective. The grounding you feel is evidence that heaven cares about how you encounter what is next. You are being stabilized so that you can stand confidently when understanding arrives. Right now, allow your breathing to slow. Allow your thoughts to soften. Allow the tension in your spirit to release. Reflection is not retreat. It is recalibration. It is the quiet strengthening of your foundation before you step onto new ground. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection. And as you open this message, letting the insight settle deep within, know this: what is coming into view is not here to shake you. It is here to align you. And you are being made ready to see it clearly. There is a reason this grounding is happening now, at this exact point in your journey. It is not random timing. It is not spiritual coincidence. When Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, it is because something significant is forming just beyond your line of sight. Before revelation arrives, stability must be established. Before clarity breaks through, your inner foundation must be reinforced. You are being steadied because what is coming into view carries meaning that requires maturity, discernment, and calm strength. Grounding always comes before elevation. Think about that carefully. When a structure is about to rise higher, engineers reinforce the base. When a tree is about to grow wider branches, its roots must stretch deeper into the soil. In the same way, your spirit is being rooted right now. You may have felt slowed down. You may have felt as though progress has paused. But in the spiritual realm, roots are extending. Stability is strengthening. Archangel Michael's presence in this season is not about dramatic rescue. It is about steady preparation. You might have noticed subtle signs that you have been spiritually unsettled. Perhaps your sleep hath been different. Perhaps your thoughts have been reflective rather than reactive. Maybe situations that once triggered anxiety now feel distant, as if you are being taught to observe instead of absorb. This is not emotional numbness. This is spiritual regulation. It is a recalibration of your inner compass so that when something new comes into view, you will not be thrown off balance. There is unseen preparation happening behind the scenes. Conversations you are not aware of. Decisions aligning. Doors quietly positioning themselves. Even delays that once frustrated you are serving a purpose. If everything had moved forward too quickly, you might have entered the next phase unprepared. Grounding protects you from premature exposure. It shields you from reacting too quickly or speaking too soon. It teaches you to wait with confidence rather than rush with uncertainty. This grounding is also separating noise from truth. When life becomes loud, it is difficult to distinguish divine direction from emotional impulse. Reflection silences unnecessary voices. It lowers distractions. It forces you to confront what is real inside you. Archangel Michael's guidance is helping you anchor into truth instead of assumption. You are being taught to stand still long enough to recognize what genuinely belongs in your future and what was only passing through your present. And here is something important. Grounding does not mean you are stuck. It means you are being secured. There is a powerful difference. Being stuck feels hopeless. Being secured feels intentional. Right now, your life is being secured. Your emotions are being steadied. Your thoughts are being refined. So when the next development steps forward into your awareness, you will not question your footing. You will stand firm. As you listen to this, if something inside you resonates, if you recognize this season of reflection in your own life, take a moment to engage with this message. Like this video as a sign that you are choosing alignment over anxiety. Share it with someone who may also be in a season of grounding but does not yet understand why. Subscribe to this channel if you are ready to receive consistent spiritual insight that strengthens your foundation rather than stirs fear. And in the comments, write, "I am being grounded for clarity," as a declaration over your own journey. Your engagement is not just interaction, it is agreement. Because the truth is, agreement matters. When you consciously acknowledge that this grounding has purpose, you shift from resistance to cooperation. Instead of fighting the pause, you embrace it. Instead of interpreting silence as absence, you recognize it as preparation. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of that preparation. His guidance steadies your thoughts when they try to run ahead of timing. His presence reassures your heart when impatience whispers that nothing is happening, but something is happening. Quietly, precisely, intentionally. You are being grounded now because your next step requires clear vision. And clear vision can only come when the inner ground is firm. If your foundation were unstable, even a small shift could feel overwhelming. But when you are grounded, even significant changes feel manageable. They feel orchestrated. They feel aligned. Pay attention to the subtle calm that has begun to replace urgency. Notice how certain fears have lost their intensity. Observe how your spirit feels invited to breathe more deeply. These are signs that the grounding process is working. You are not losing momentum. You are gaining control. And as this control strengthens, so does your discernment. Soon, what has been forming behind the scenes will step into focus. You will recognize it not with panic, but with understanding. Not with confusion, but with clarity. That is why this grounding is happening now. It is positioning you to receive what is coming into view with steadiness and wisdom. You are not being delayed. You are being prepared. You are not being silenced. You are being stabilized. And as this foundation solidifies beneath you, you will begin to sense that the pause was never empty. It was powerful. It was protective. It was purposeful. There is a sacred pattern woven throughout every spiritual journey. Before clarity arrives, there is quiet. Not emptiness. Not abandonment. But intentional quiet. This is where you are standing right now. And quiet before clarity. And Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection because the silence is not random. It is strategic. Something is coming into view, but it will not crash into your life with chaos. It will rise gently, like the sun breaking over a horizon you have been staring at in the dark. Reflection is not a detour from your path. It is the sharpening of your sight. Many people misunderstand this phase. They assume that if answers are not immediate, something is wrong. If movement slows, they fear loss. But heaven does not rush revelation. It prepares the heart first. You are being allowed to sit in stillness because your perception is being refined. In the quiet, distractions lose their grip. In the quiet, emotions settle. In the quiet, truth separates itself from assumption. You may have felt emotional waves recently, memories resurfacing, questions echoing, old thoughts revisiting your mind. This is not regression. It is review. Reflection often brings unresolved fragments into awareness, not to overwhelm you, but to clear your vision. Archangel Michael's steady presence during this time acts like a shield around your mind, preventing fear from distorting what is happening. You are safe in this reflection. You are protected in this pause. Confusion sometimes precedes vision. That may surprise you, but think about a lens adjusting its focus. For a brief moment, everything appears blurred. That blur does not mean the image is lost. It means the lens is aligning. In the same way, your spiritual lens is adjusting. What once seemed certain may now feel uncertain. What once seemed urgent may now feel distant. This is not instability. It is recalibration. Something is coming into view in the spiritual realm long before it becomes visible in the physical. Alignments are forming. Conversations are shifting. Doors are positioning themselves quietly. And you are being kept in a reflective state so that when the moment arrives, you will recognize it instantly. Without panic. Without hesitation. With calm understanding. This is why grounding matters so deeply right now. If clarity were handed to you without preparation, it could feel overwhelming. But because you are being stilled first, your spirit will be able to receive it with grace. Reflection builds capacity. It stretches your discernment. It strengthens your emotional steadiness. You are not being left in silence. You are being trained in perception. There is also something else happening in this quiet. You are being detached from noise that would interfere with your next step. Some voices are fading. Some influences are losing strength. Some fears are dissolving without confrontation. You may not even realize how much distraction has already been removed from your environment. That is intentional. Clarity requires space. And space is being created around you. Right now, it may feel like you are waiting. But in truth, you are aligning. Waiting feels passive. Aligning is active in the unseen realm. Every moment of reflection is adjusting something within you. Every pause is strengthening your footing. Every breath taken in stillness is preparing you to stand firm when what is hidden becomes visible. And here is something important for you to hold on to. The quiet is not permanent. It is transitional. It is the sacred space between question and answer, between confusion and confirmation, between wondering and knowing. You are standing in that space now. Hold on, because what comes next changes everything. The clarity that is forming will not just answer one question. It will illuminate a larger picture. You will see why certain delays happened. You will understand why certain doors remained closed. You will recognize why reflection was necessary. And when you do, you will realize that nothing about this season was wasted. Before we move further, let this moment become more than words. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, if you feel that you are in the quiet before clarity, seal it with intention. Type "I receive clear vision" in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 314 is now activated over your season of reflection. Let that declaration ground you even more deeply. And remember this: the quiet is not a sign that nothing is happening. It is proof that something important is being finalized. What is coming into view is being aligned with precision. You are being positioned to recognize it. You are being strengthened to handle it. You are being steadied to embrace it. You will be glad you stayed for what is about to be revealed. As this quiet prepares the ground for clarity, I need to speak to those who feel called to go deeper. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, using the link in the description or the PayPal QR code flashing on your screen, you are not supporting a channel, You are watering seeds in souls across the world. The Lord says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and your giving becomes living seed in fertile ground. I believe someone is thinking right now, I want to be part of spreading this light. This is your moment of obedience. Let your generosity become oil that keeps this prophetic fire burning for those still searching in the dark. As you give, may open heavens respond over your life, and may the harvest return to you pressed down and overflowing. Step into this blessing. Sow the seed now. There are seasons when it feels as though answers are withheld on purpose. You pray. You reflect. You wait. Yet clarity seems to remain just out of reach. But what you could not see, what you were never meant to see too early, hath been aligning beneath the surface this entire time. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, because what has been hidden is not lost. It is aligning. It is assembling. It is being positioned with precision that your human timeline could never rush. When something is hidden in the spiritual realm, it is not concealed to punish you. It is protected to prepare you. There is a difference. Protection often looks like delay. Alignment often looks like silence. But silence does not mean inactivity. Behind what appears still, movement is happening with exact detail. Conversations are shifting. Circumstances are adjusting. Hearts are being softened. Obstacles are being quietly relocated. You may have wondered why certain prayers were not answered immediately. Why certain paths did not open when you knocked. Why certain people drifted away without explanation. It may have felt like loss or confusion at the time. But now, as you stand in this grounded place of reflection, you are beginning to sense something subtle. Pieces are moving. Not loudly, not dramatically, but intentionally. Spiritual veils lift gradually. Rarely does clarity arrive all at once. Instead, it begins as a faint outline. A realization here, a confirmation there, a sudden calm where anxiety once lived. These are the early signs that what was hidden is stepping forward into alignment. Archangel Michael's role in this is steady and protective. He does not force revelation before you are ready. He ensures that when truth emerges, it does so in a way that strengthens you rather than destabilizes you. Think about how a puzzle comes together. At first, the scattered pieces make no sense. You cannot see the image. You cannot predict the full picture. But piece by piece, edges connect. Colors align. Shapes begin to make sense. What once looked random begins to reveal intention. That is what is happening in your life right now. The scattered experiences, the unanswered questions, the unexpected pauses, they are forming a coherent image. You are also beginning to notice subtle confirmations. Perhaps a repeated message keeps appearing. Perhaps different conversations echo the same theme. Perhaps your intuition feels stronger than before. These are not coincidences. They are signals that alignment is underway. What was once fragmented is organizing itself. Patience has positioned you for this moment. That is important to understand. If you had forced answers too soon, you might have misinterpreted them. If doors had opened prematurely, you might have walked through without the wisdom you now carry. The waiting refined you. The reflection steadied you. The grounding strengthened you. And now, because of that preparation, you are ready to recognize alignment when it appears. There is also a deeper layer to this alignment. Not only are external circumstances shifting, but internal structures are stabilizing. Your reactions are calmer. Your discernment is sharper. Your emotional responses are more measured. This inner change is not accidental. It is necessary. When what has been hidden fully comes into view, you will need both external opportunity and internal readiness. One without the other creates imbalance, but both together create momentum. Some of what is aligning may surprise you. It may not look exactly like you expected, but it will feel right. That is how you will know. It will not bring chaos into your spirit. It will bring confirmation. It will not produce panic. It will produce clarity. And because you have been grounded during reflection, you will recognize the difference immediately. There are also situations where you may realize that what you thought was meant for you was actually protection in disguise. Closed doors will begin to make sense. Delays will reveal their wisdom. Even disappointments may transform into gratitude as you see what they were shielding you from. This is part of the unveiling process. When alignment becomes visible, perspective shifts. Right now, you are in the final stages of hidden pieces moving into place. The spiritual atmosphere around you is adjusting. If you pay attention, you can sense it. A subtle anticipation, a quiet confidence building beneath the surface. You may not have full details yet, but you feel that something is nearing completion. Do not rush this stage. Allow alignment to finish its work. When fruit ripens naturally, it nourishes. When it is forced, it disappoints. Trust the timing of what is unfolding. Archangel Michael's guidance continues to steady your footing, ensuring that when the full picture emerges, you are not overwhelmed by its scope. What has been hidden is not beyond you. It is aligning for you. Every unseen adjustment has purpose. Every silent shift carries intention. And as the pieces continue to settle into place, you will begin to see not just isolated answers, but a unified direction. The veil is thinning. The outlines are forming. The connections are strengthening. And very soon, what once felt distant will stand clearly before you, not as a shock, but as a fulfillment of everything that has been quietly aligning in this sacred season of reflection. There's a weight you have been carrying that was never assigned to you. It may not be visible to others. It may not even be fully visible to you. But it has been present, subtle, persistent, shaping your thoughts and influencing your emotions. As Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, part of that grounding involves identifying and releasing burdens that were never yours to hold. Because before something new comes into view, you must be light enough to receive it. Some of this weight comes from overthinking, replaying conversations, imagining outcomes, preparing for problems that have not even appeared. You may have believed that by carrying every possible scenario in your mind, you were protecting yourself. But constant mental rehearsal is not protection. It is exhaustion. It creates tension in your spirit and clouds your perception. Reflection is revealing how much of your energy has been spent managing things outside your control. Other burdens may be emotional. Guilt from past decisions. Responsibility for other people's reactions. A quiet belief that if something goes wrong, it must somehow trace back to you. These are heavy thoughts, and they often settle so deeply that they begin to feel normal. But they are not normal. They are not healthy, and they are not required for your growth. Archangel Michael's presence in this season is like a steady hand removing armor you no longer need. There was a time when you had to fight harder. There were seasons when vigilance was necessary. But this is not that season. You are not standing in battle right now. You are standing in preparation for clarity. And preparation requires freedom of movement, not defensive posture. You may have also been carrying the weight of expectation, your own and others. The silent pressure to succeed quickly, the fear of disappointing people, the desire to prove that your path has purpose. These expectations can become chains around your confidence. They create urgency where patience is required. They create anxiety where trust should live. And they distract you from recognizing the subtle alignment taking place. Grounding means releasing false responsibility. It means acknowledging what belongs to you and what does not. Not every problem is yours to solve. Not every emotion is yours to absorb. Not every delay is yours to fix. Some things are unfolding according to timing that exists beyond your influence. And your role is not to force movement. It is to remain steady. There may also be imagined outcomes that have been weighing heavily on your mind. Scenarios built from fear rather than fact. Conversations that have not happened. Failures that have not occurred. Losses that have not materialized. The mind can create entire storms without a single cloud in the sky. And carrying these imagined futures drains your present strength. Reflection is exposing this pattern gently. Not to shame you, but to free you. Archangel Michael's guidance is cutting cords of overanalysis and quiet self-blame. He is helping you recognize where your thoughts have been building pressure that reality has not required. And as those cords are cut, something shifts. Your breathing becomes easier. Your thinking becomes clearer. Your spirit becomes lighter. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment with truth. When you surrender false responsibility, you make space for real clarity. When you release imagined outcomes, you allow authentic possibilities to form. When you let go of guilt that no longer serves growth, you restore emotional balance. The weight you were never meant to carry may have convinced you that constant vigilance equals strength. But true strength is stability. It is knowing when to act and when to rest. It is understanding that you do not need to anticipate every possible disruption to be prepared. You only need to remain grounded in what is real. Ask yourself quietly, what have I been holding on to that does not belong to me? What fears have I nurtured without evidence? What expectations have I allowed to define my worth? These questions are not meant to create discomfort. They are meant to create awareness. And awareness leads to release. As you begin to release these burdens, you may feel a subtle shift in your energy. Thoughts that once spiraled now settle more quickly. Situations that once triggered anxiety now feel manageable. This is not indifference. It is balance. You are rediscovering what it feels like to carry only what is truly yours. And what is truly yours? Your integrity. Your choices. Your growth. Your response to what comes into view. Not the entire outcome. Not the reactions of others. Not every possible future. Just your grounded presence in the moment. There is also something powerful about this release. It prepares you to receive what is aligning without distortion. When you carry too much unnecessary weight, even good news can feel overwhelming. Even opportunity can feel stressful. But when you are lightened, when false burdens are removed, clarity feels like confirmation instead of pressure. You were never meant to carry everything. You were never meant to anticipate every outcome. You were never meant to shoulder the emotional reactions of everyone around you. That weight does not define strength. It diminishes peace. As this reflection continues, allow yourself to set down what no longer belongs in your hands. Trust that what is coming into view does not require panic. It requires steadiness. It requires readiness. It requires a heart unburdened by unnecessary fear. Archangel Michael stands as a protector not only against external threat but against internal overload. And right now, protection looks like release. It looks like clarity replacing confusion. It looks like peace replacing pressure. The weight is lifting. The ground beneath you is steady, and as you release what was never yours to carry, you create space for what truly belongs to step forward clearly, gently, and without resistance. Something subtle but powerful is happening beneath the surface of your life. While you have been reflecting, releasing, and recalibrating, the ground beneath you has been stabilizing. You may not have noticed it at first. Stabilization is not dramatic. It does not announce itself loudly. It works quietly, reinforcing what supports you. And as Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, this is one of the most important truths to understand. Your foundation is becoming stronger than it has ever been before. There was a time when small disruptions felt overwhelming. A single unexpected change could shake your entire emotional structure. A delay could create doubt. A disagreement could spiral into overanalysis. But now, something is different. You are responding more calmly. You are pausing before reacting. You are observing instead of absorbing. That shift is evidence that your internal ground is stabilizing. Stability is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of balance during movement. Life is still unfolding. Situations are still shifting. Conversations are still happening. But you are not being thrown off course as easily. That is not accidental. It is the result of the grounding process you have been walking through. Archangel Michael's steady influence in this season is reinforcing your inner structure. Imagine pillars being strengthened beneath a bridge. The travelers crossing above may not see the reinforcement happening below, but it is essential. Without strong pillars, even a beautiful structure becomes vulnerable. In the same way, your inner stability supports everything that is about to cross into your life. There is also a difference between emotional grounding and spiritual grounding. Emotional grounding teaches you to regulate feelings. Spiritual grounding anchors you in truth beyond your feelings. Right now, both are happening simultaneously. You are learning to recognize your emotions without being ruled by them. You are learning to trust alignment even when you do not yet see the full picture. You may notice that situations which once triggered urgency now invite patience. This is stabilization at work. You may notice that uncertainty no longer creates immediate fear. This is reinforcement beneath the surface. You may even sense a quiet confidence building, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust that clarity is forming in its proper time. The ground beneath you is also stabilizing through subtle confirmations. Small details aligning, minor concerns resolving themselves without effort, unexpected reassurance arriving at just the right moment. These are signs that divine order is restoring balance in your environment. Chaos is not gaining ground. Stability is. It is important to recognize that stabilization sometimes follows a period of shaking. Think about how foundations are tested before they are strengthened. Pressure reveals weak points. Reflection exposed areas where fear once lived. Release removed unnecessary weight. Now reinforcement is occurring. You are not the same person you were before this season began. There is also a shift happening in how you perceive challenges. Instead of interpreting them as threats, you are beginning to see them as information. Instead of assuming worst-case outcomes, you are allowing space for positive possibility. That is spiritual maturity. That is grounding becoming permanent rather than temporary. The stabilization process is also preparing you for responsibility. When something new comes into view, it will require steady hands and a calm mind. It may involve decisions. It may involve opportunities. It may involve clarity that changes direction. Without stability, such moments could feel overwhelming. But with stability, they feel manageable. Pay attention to your breathing lately. It may be deeper. Zor. More intentional. Pay attention to your thoughts. They may feel less frantic, more organized. Pay attention to your body. It may feel less tense, more at ease. These are not small changes. They are evidence that your internal environment is shifting into balance. Archangel Michael's guidance is not about dramatic rescue. It is about sustained steadiness. Protection in this season looks like reinforcement. It looks like strengthening what supports you so that when revelation arrives, you stand firm instead of swaying. There may still be moments of uncertainty. Stabilization does not eliminate questions entirely, but it changes your relationship with them. Questions no longer control you. They simply exist until answers arrive. The difference is powerful. The ground beneath you is also stabilizing relationally. Certain dynamics are evening out. Power imbalances are correcting themselves. Communication is becoming clear. Even distance in some relationships may actually be creating healthier boundaries. All of this contributes to a stronger foundation for what lies ahead. And here is something deeply reassuring. Stabilization means you are ready for expansion. Expansion without stability leads to collapse. But expansion built on reinforcement leads to growth. Something is coming into view that will stretch you, but not beyond your capacity. Because your capacity has been increasing quietly throughout this entire season. You are becoming someone who can carry clarity without anxiety. Someone who can receive opportunity without panic. Someone who can stand in understanding without second-guessing every step. The transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through grounding, through reflection, through reinforcement. So if you feel calmer than before, trust that. If you feel less reactive, honor that. If you feel a quiet assurance that everything is aligning even without visible proof, lean into that. These are signs that the ground beneath you is no longer shifting unpredictably. It is solidifying. And as it solidifies, you are being positioned to step forward with confidence. Not forced forward, not rushed forward, but invited forward when the time is right. The stabilization is nearly complete. The reinforcement is strong. The foundation is secure. And very soon, when what has been forming steps fully into view, you will not feel shaken. You will feel ready. There is a shift happening within you that is subtle but undeniable. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. But it is powerful. A new perspective is emerging, and it is changing the way you see everything. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, because perspective determines perception, and perception determines direction. Something is coming into view, but before you fully see it, you are being taught how to see differently. In the past, you may have viewed challenges as barriers. You may have interpreted delays as rejection. You may have seen silence as absence. But now, through this season of grounding and stabilization, your lens is adjusting. What once looked like blockage now appears as protection. What once felt like stagnation now feels like preparation. This is the beginning of wisdom replacing assumption. A new perspective does not arrive all at once. It unfolds gradually, like light filling a room at dawn. At first, shapes are faint. Details are unclear. But as the light increases, everything becomes recognizable. That is what is happening within you. The light of understanding is increasing, and with it, your ability to interpret your experiences accurately. You are beginning to see situations from a higher vantage point. Instead of reacting from emotion, you are observing from awareness. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you are asking, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift in questioning changes everything. It moves you from victimhood to growth, from confusion to curiosity, from fear to faith in alignment. Archangel Michael's influence in this transformation is steady and protective. He is not forcing you to ignore your emotions. He is guiding you to look beyond them. Emotions are real, but they are not always reliable indicators of truth. A new perspective allows you to acknowledge what you feel without allowing it to distort what is real. This shift is also affecting how you see other people. You may find yourself less reactive to misunderstandings, less eager to defend, less concerned with proving your point. Instead, you are choosing peace over conflict, clarity over chaos, discernment over impulse. That is not weakness. That is maturity strengthening its voice within you. You are also beginning to notice patterns that were previously invisible. Repeated lessons, recurring themes, subtle confirmations. What once seemed random now appears intentional. And when life starts to look intentional rather than accidental, trust deepens naturally. There is something powerful about perspective. It determines how you receive what is coming into view. If your perspective is rooted in fear, even good news can feel threatening. If your perspective is grounded in stability, even unexpected changes can feel manageable. That is why this shift had to happen before clarity fully arrives. You are being elevated internally before you are elevated externally. Your understanding is expanding before your circumstances shift visibly. This order matters, because when external change comes without internal readiness, instability follows. But when perspective transforms first, external change becomes opportunity. Notice how your thoughts are evolving. Perhaps you are no longer catastrophizing small setbacks. Perhaps you are quicker to release minor disappointments. Perhaps you are trusting timing more than before. These are signs that your mental framework is restructuring itself around balance instead of fear. The new perspective emerging within you is also strengthening your intuition. You are sensing what aligns and what does not more quickly. You are recognizing when something feels forced. You are identifying when something feels natural. That discernment will be crucial when what has been forming steps clearly into your awareness. There is also a calm confidence beginning to grow. Not arrogance, not overconfidence, but quiet assurance. You are starting to trust yourself more. Trust your perception. Trust your ability to navigate uncertainty. That trust did not appear overnight. It was built through reflection, release, and stabilization. Sometimes, perspective shifts are uncomfortable at first. They require letting go of old narratives. They require admitting that certain fears were exaggerated. They require acknowledging that some struggles were necessary for growth. But once accepted, the new perspective feels liberating. You are no longer looking at your life from ground-level confusion. You are stepping back and seeing the broader landscape. You are noticing connections. You are understanding timing. You are recognizing alignment. And as this higher viewpoint becomes natural, anxiety loses its influence. Something important is happening here. Your perspective is aligning with reality rather than imagination. Instead of projecting worst-case scenarios, you are evaluating what is actually present. Instead of assuming negative outcomes, you are allowing space for positive development. That shift alone creates emotional freedom. Archangel Michael's guidance continues to ground you so that this new perspective remains stable. It is one thing to glimpse higher understanding. It is another to live from it consistently. Grounding ensures that this clarity does not fade under pressure. As this new way of seeing solidifies, you will begin to anticipate what is coming into view with calm expectation rather than nervous uncertainty. You will sense that whatever emerges next will fit into a larger picture that is already forming. And when it finally steps fully into focus, you will not feel blindsided. You will feel prepared. Because perspective has already paved the way. You are not the same person who entered this season of reflection. Your vision is clearer. Your thoughts are steadier. Your discernment is sharper. A new perspective is emerging, and it is positioning you perfectly for what is about to come into view. You can feel it now, can't you? There is a quiet anticipation in your spirit. Not anxiety, not restlessness, but awareness. The revelation approaches. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection because the moment when something comes fully into view is closer than you realize. The alignment has been happening. The weight has been lifted. The ground hath been stabilized. Your perspective has shifted. And now, the final pieces are moving into place. Revelation rarely announces itself with noise. It does not need to. When something is truly aligned, it carries its own confirmation. It arrives with a sense of rightness that does not require excessive explanation. You will not have to force yourself to believe it. You will recognize it. That recognition is what all this preparation had meant for. Timing matters deeply in the spiritual realm. If this revelation had appeared months ago, you might have questioned it. You might have resisted it. You might have misunderstood it. But now, after reflection and grounding, you are in a position to receive it accurately. The clarity approaching you is not meant to confuse. It is meant to settle you. You may already be sensing subtle signs that confirmation is near. Small breakthroughs, conversations shifting tone, opportunities presenting themselves without struggle, even internal realizations that seem to click into place unexpectedly. These are early signals. Like the first light before sunrise, they indicate that something significant is about to be fully visible. It is important not to rush this stage. When anticipation builds, the human instinct is to grasp, to demand immediate answers. But grasping disrupts peace. You have come too far in this grounding process to lose stability now. Let revelation unfold naturally. Let it rise instead of pulling it toward you prematurely. Archangel Michael's presence remains steady, not urgent. He is not pushing you forward. He is reminding you to remain anchored as the final adjustments occur. Because when revelation arrives, it will not simply inform you. It will redirect you. It will clarify choices. It will highlight next steps. You will illuminate paths that once seemed uncertain. The final pieces moving into place may involve people, timing, or decisions. Some connections may strengthen. Others may quietly fall away. Some doors may open with surprising ease. Others may close without resistance. Pay attention to these. True alignment carries peace, even when it requires courage. There is also a deep emotional shift that happens just before revelation. A sense of release. A calm acceptance. Almost as if your spirit already knows what your mind has not yet fully processed. That is because alignment is felt before it is understood. Trust that feeling. It is evidence that preparation has done its work. You may notice that fear has less to say now. Doubt has less influence. Impatience has softened. That is not coincidence. That is maturity strengthening your foundation. And it is necessary because what is coming into view carries responsibility. Not burden, but responsibility. Clarity always does. As this revelation approaches, remember how far you have come. You endured the quiet. You released unnecessary weight. You allowed your perspective to change. You permitted grounding to stabilize you. All of that was preparation for this moment. And here is something you must hold on to. When clarity arrives, it will not contradict peace. If something creates chaos in your spirit, it is not the revelation meant for you. What is truly aligned will feel steady, even if it stretches you. It will feel confirming, even if it challenges you. You are closer than you think. The distance between reflection and realization is narrowing. The space between question and answer is shrinking. The horizon you have been staring at is about to reveal its detail. And when it does, you will understand why the timing had to be exact. There is more unfolding here than meets the eye. What is about to be revealed will affirm everything you have sensed but could not yet explain. You will be grateful you allowed grounding to finish its work, because without it, this moment could have felt overwhelming instead of empowering. Before we move forward, seal this season with intention. Type "I'm ready for revelation" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 528 is now activated over your clarity and confirmation. Let that declaration anchor you as the final veil thins. The revelation approaches quietly, confidently, intentionally. You are not chasing it. It is aligning with you. You are not forcing it. It is forming at the right pace. And when it steps fully into view, you will stand steady, not surprised by chaos, but strengthened by clarity. You will be glad you stayed for what is about to unfold next. As this revelation draws near, there are souls around the world standing in their own quiet before clarity. When you give through Super Thanks, become a member, or sow through PayPal using the link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are helping this light reach them at their appointed hour. Scripture declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this is not theory. It is a living promise spoken over your obedience. I sense someone thinking, "I want to be part of what God is doing here." Enact on that stirring. Let your gift become a river that carries prophetic encouragement into dry places. As you sow into this ground, may revelation flow back into your own life in abundance. Step forward in faith and release your seed now. Now that the revelation is approaching, there is an important truth you must understand. You are not a passive observer in this unfolding. You had a role. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, but grounding was never meant to make you inactive. It was meant to prepare you to respond correctly when clarity comes into view. And how you respond will shape what happens next. Your role begins with guarding your peace. When something significant comes into focus, it often attracts external opinions, distractions, and noise. Not everyone will understand what you see. Not everyone will recognize the alignment you feel. But you are not responsible for convincing them. You are responsible for remaining steady. Peace is your confirmation. If you protect it, you protect the clarity that has been forming. You must also align your words with what you now understand. In the past, you may have spoken from uncertainty. You may have expressed doubt while waiting for answers. But when revelation steps forward, your language must shift. Speak from confidence. Speak from trust. Speak from grounded awareness. Words carry direction. If you continue speaking as though you are confused, you will anchor yourself to confusion. But if you speak as someone who has received clarity, your actions will follow that certainty. There is also a call to discernment in this unfolding. Not every opportunity is meant to be seized immediately. Not every open door requires instant movement. Yet because something becomes visible does not mean it must be right. Part of your role is to move in alignment, not impulse. You have learned patience during reflection. Do not abandon that wisdom now. You may feel excitement building as things begin to make sense. That excitement is natural. but anchor it in stability. Excitement without grounding can lead to premature decisions. Remain centered. Allow the revelation to settle fully before acting. Sometimes clarity needs a moment to breathe before it becomes direction. Your role also includes releasing what no longer aligns. When something new comes into view, it often highlights what has been misaligned. Habits, attachments, environments, even thought patterns. You cannot carry outdated structures into a new season of understanding. Part of your participation in this unfolding is letting go gracefully when necessary. Guarding your energy will also be essential. As clarity emerges, you may feel a desire to explain everything to everyone. Resist that urge. Not every revelation is meant for public display. Some insights are sacred. Some shifts are personal. Share wisely. Move quietly when needed. Confidence does not require constant validation. And here is something powerful. Gratitude anchors revelation. Instead of immediately focusing on what comes next, pause to acknowledge how far you have come. Recognize the growth that occurred during reflection. Appreciate the stability that was built beneath you. Gratitude prevents entitlement and strengthens humility. It keeps your spirit balanced as new understanding expands your horizon. If this message has been guiding you step by step through reflection, grounding, release, stabilization, perspective, and now unfolding clarity, take a moment to engage with it intentionally. Like this video as a declaration that you are stepping into your role with awareness. Share it with someone who may also be standing at the edge of revelation but unsure how to respond. Subscribe if you are committed to walking through future seasons of clarity with grounded strength. And in the comments, write, "I move with peace and purpose," as your personal alignment statement. Because participation matters. Agreement matters. Action matters. There is one more thing you must hear. Impatience can distort clarity. When you sense something significant approaching, the temptation is to accelerate it, to force confirmation, to demand final answers immediately. But forcing revelation creates pressure that was never intended. You have been trained in stillness for a reason. Trust that reason. You are not meant to chase what is aligning. You are meant to recognize it and step into it at the right moment. There is a difference between pursuit and positioning. Positioning is calm. It is intentional. It is responsive rather than reactive. As you move forward, keep your internal dialogue disciplined. Replace what if it fails with what if it aligns perfectly. Replace what if I am wrong with what if this is exactly what I prepared for. The mind can either reinforce fear or strengthen faith in alignment. Choose carefully. And remember this: clarity does not eliminate responsibility. It increases it. Once you see clearly, you cannot pretend ignorance. Once you understand, you must act accordingly. That action may be bold. It may be quiet. It may be immediate or gradual. But it will be guided by the stability you have built. Something significant is unfolding around you and within you. You are not watching it from a distance. You are stepping into it with intention. The revelation approaching you is not separate from your participation. It requires your grounded response. What comes next will test your steadiness, not with chaos, but with opportunity. And how you stand in that moment will determine how fully you experience the clarity that hath been forming. Stay centered in what you have learned, because the way you move now will echo into everything that follows. Just when you think you are fully ready, there comes a final test. Not a test of strength in battle, not a test of endurance in chaos, but a test of stillness. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, and now that something is coming into view, your ability to remain still in clarity will determine how smoothly you step into what is next. Stillness is often misunderstood. Many assume it means inactivity or hesitation. But true stillness is controlled readiness. It is the discipline of holding your position without forcing movement. After everything you have walked through, release, stabilization, perspective shift, anticipation, this final stage requires restraint. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is aligning at a precise pace. The patience is subtle. It does not always appear as anxiety. Sometimes it disguises itself as enthusiasm. You may feel eager to act, eager to announce, eager to finalize decisions the moment clarity begins to form. But the test of stillness asks a deeper question. Can you wait even when you see the answer approaching? Can you trust timing even when you feel capable of moving ahead? This discipline is powerful, because when you act too soon, you risk disrupting what is still finalizing behind the scenes. When you speak too quickly, you may reveal plans before they are fully secured. When you push forward prematurely, you may create resistance that would have naturally dissolved with patience. Archangel Michael's steady presence in this moment is not about holding you back. It is about protecting the integrity of what is aligning. There is a difference between delay and divine pacing. Delay feels obstructed. Divine pacing feels deliberate. If you sense calm beneath the waiting, you are in divine pacing. The test of stillness also reveals trust. Do you trust what you cannot yet fully see? Do you trust that unseen details are continuing to align? Do you trust that the clarity forming will not disappear if you give it a little more time? Trust is proven in waiting, not in rushing. There may be moments in this stage where doubt tries to resurface. It may whisper, "What if you miss your opportunity?" Or "What if this is the only chance?" But clarity that is truly aligned does not vanish under patience. If something requires frantic urgency to survive, it was not stable to begin with. What is meant to come into view will remain steady while you remain still. Stillness also sharpens discernment. In quiet observation, you notice small shifts. You catch subtle confirmations. You identify inconsistencies that could have been overlooked in haste. This final layer of awareness ensures that when you move accurately. You may also feel a tension between internal readiness and external timing. Inside, you feel prepared. Outside, circumstances may still be settling. Attention is part of the test. It asks you to harmonize internal confidence with external alignment, moving only when both are synchronized. There is strength in restraint, strength in silence, strength in allowing something to fully emerge rather than pulling it toward you. Think of a seed breaking through soil. It does not force the sun to rise faster. It grows steadily, trusting that light will meet it at the right moment. You are in that growth phase now. The test of stillness refines character. It teaches emotional control. It strengthens spiritual maturity. It separates impulsive reaction from intentional action. And most importantly, it ensures that when you finally step forward, you do so with clarity that cannot be shaken by minor obstacles. You may notice that external distractions increase during this stage. New opportunities may appear that seem tempting but slightly misaligned. Old patterns may attempt to re-enter your focus. Even familiar doubts may knock quietly at your thoughts. These are distractions designed to test your steadiness. Not everything that appears is meant to be pursued. Not everything that resurfaces is meant to be reconsidered. Remain grounded. Remember the peace that accompanied the approaching revelation. Peace is your compass. If something disrupts it prematurely, pause. Reevaluate. Stillness allows truth to reveal itself without pressure. This is also a moment to discipline your internal dialogue. Replace urgency with assurance. Replace fear of missing out with confidence and timing. Replace pressure with patience. The mind must align with the stability your spirit has developed. And understand this clearly. Stillness is not permanent. It is temporary alignment before movement. When the moment arrives, action will feel natural. Doors will open without strain. Conversations will flow without resistance. Decisions will carry calm certainty. You will know it is time because movement will no longer require force. Until then, remain steady. Archangel Michael's guidance continues to anchor you so that impatience does not sabotage what preparation has built. The foundation is strong. The perspective is clear. The revelation is near. But this final stage ensures that your entrance into the next chapter is smooth rather than chaotic. The test of stillness is the final refinement before clarity becomes direction. Pass this test, and you will move forward without regret. Rush it, and you risk unnecessary complications. You are capable of this discipline. You have already demonstrated resilience, patience, and growth. Now demonstrate restraint. Because when you finally move, it will not be from pressure. It will be from peace. And then it happens. Not with chaos. Not with confusion. Not with the overwhelming force you may have once imagined. But with clarity. Clean, steady, undeniable clarity. What has been forming behind the scenes, what has been aligning through reflection, grounding, release, stabilization, perspective, anticipation, and stillness, finally comes into view. When it does, your first reaction will not be panic. It will be recognition. There is a powerful difference between surprise and confirmation. Surprise startles you. Confirmation settles you. And what is coming into view in your life will feel like something your spirit has already encountered before your mind fully understood it. You will not feel lost in it. You will feel aligned with it. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection because without that preparation, this moment could have felt overwhelming. But now, as clarity stands before you, you are steady. You are not scrambling for interpretation. You are not second-guessing every detail. You are observing with calm assurance. The questions that once circled your thoughts begin to dissolve naturally. Not every detail will be revealed at once, but enough will become visible to move forward confidently. And with that visibility comes emotional release. You may feel relief washing over you. A sense of now I understand. A quiet gratitude for the delays that once frustrated you. This is the moment where everything begins to make sense. The closed doors, the silence, the internal shifts, the seasons of waiting. They were not empty chapters. They were building blocks. And now you see the structure they were forming. Clarity has a stabilizing effect when it arrives at the right time. Instead of creating urgency, it creates direction. Instead of fueling anxiety, it fuels focus. Instead of overwhelming your spirit, it strengthens your resolve. You are not reacting impulsively to what you see. You are responding thoughtfully. You may also notice that fear no longer has authority in this moment. The fears that once seemed loud now appear small. They lose their intensity under the light of understanding. Because fear thrives in uncertainty, and uncertainty has just been reduced. There is also a sense of divine orchestration that becomes undeniable when something finally comes into view. You begin connecting dots that once seemed unrelated. Conversations from months ago suddenly carry new meaning. Delays now appear strategic. Even disappointments reveal hidden protection. This realization deepens your trust, not only in timing, but in guidance. You recognize that you were not navigating alone. Even in moments when clarity felt distant, alignment was forming quietly. Even when you doubted progress, preparation was strengthening your foundation. When something finally comes into view, it also reveals who you have become. You see not only the external clarity, but the internal growth. The person who once would have panicked is no longer present. The version of you who once rushed ahead has matured. You are calmer now, wiser, more discerning, and that maturity changes how you step forward. You are not grasping at this new clarity with desperation. You are holding it with confidence. You are not overanalyzing every possibility. You are allowing the next steps to unfold naturally. There is power in that restraint. There may still be unknown details ahead. Clarity does not eliminate the future entirely. It illuminates the next portion of it. But that portion is enough. Enough to move. Enough to decide. Enough to act with peace. Archangel Michael's steady presence remains, not as a warning, but as reassurance. You have crossed through the season of reflection successfully. You have endured the quiet. You have passed the test of stillness. And now you stand in understanding. The emotional shift in this moment can feel profound. Gratitude may rise unexpectedly. Confidence may replace hesitation. Even your posture may change, shoulders less tense, breathing more even. When clarity arrives at the right time, it restores energy that uncertainty once drained. And here is something deeply important. When it finally comes into view, resist the urge to minimize it. Do not downplay the significance of what you now see. Honor it. Acknowledge it. Accept it fully. Because what is being revealed has been forming with precision. This is not random alignment. This is intentional unfolding. You may even look back at your earlier doubts and smile gently, recognizing how incomplete your perspective once was. Not with regret, but with understanding. Growth always redefines previous interpretations. Now, as clarity stands before you, the path forward feels less intimidating. Not because every obstacle has vanished, but because your vision is clear. Direction reduces fear. Understanding reduces hesitation. Alignment reduces resistance. And in this moment, you realize something powerful. The reflection was never about delay. It was about preparation for this exact understanding. What has come into view is not here to confuse you. It is here to guide you. It is here to confirm what your spirit sensed long before your mind could articulate it. You are no longer searching blindly. You are seeing clearly. And from this place of clarity, your next step will not be forced. It will be chosen. Now you see it. What once felt distant is clear. What once felt uncertain is steady. What once felt hidden has stepped into view with quiet authority. Archangel Michael offers guidance meant to ground you during reflection, and now you understand why that grounding was necessary. Without it, this clarity could have shaken you. But instead, it has strengthened you. Look back at the journey you have just walked through. The sacred pause that first invited you inward. The grounding that steadied your emotions. The quiet that refined your perception. The hidden alignment forming behind the scenes. The weight you were never meant to carry being lifted. The stabilization beneath your feet. The new perspective emerging. The anticipation of revelation. The test of stillness. And finally, the moment when it all came into view. None of it was wasted. Every stage had purpose. Every delay carried intention. Every moment of uncertainty was shaping your capacity to receive this clarity without fear. And now you stand not as someone confused, but as someone confident. Not as someone scrambling for answers, but as someone who recognizes alignment when it appears. This is divine order. What has come into view is not simply an event. It is confirmation. Confirmation that you were being guided even when you could not see the full path. Confirmation that protection was surrounding you even when you felt unsure. Confirmation that timing was being orchestrated with precision beyond your understanding. And now, assurance replaces anxiety. You do not have to force the next chapter. You do not have to rush into it. You move forward from a place of peace. That peace is your evidence. When clarity comes from divine alignment, it does not bring chaos into your spirit. It brings calm resolve. Archangel Michael's presence remains not as a warning, but as a covering. You are protected as you step into what is next. You are supported as you act on what you now understand. You are not alone in this unfolding. The same guidance that grounded you will continue to guard you. There may still be challenges ahead. Growth does not eliminate responsibility. But you are no longer intimidated by what lies forward. You have seen how alignment works. You have experienced how preparation strengthens you. You trust the process now in a way you did not before. And that trust changes everything. You are stepping into your next season with awareness, with maturity, with discernment. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to it intentionally. That is transformation. Take a moment to breathe in this assurance. Let it settle deeply. The season of confusion has ended. The season of frantic searching has closed. You are standing in clarity. And clarity is a gift. Guard it. Honor it. Walk in it. As we close this message, seal this transformation with intention. Type "I walk in divine clarity" in the comments if this has resonated with your spirit. Blessing code 902 is now activated over your path forward. Let this declaration anchor your next steps in confidence and peace. Remember this above all: you were never behind. You were never forgotten. You were never wandering without guidance. Every stage of reflection was leading here. Every moment of grounding was preparing you for this understanding. And what comes next will not undo what hath been built. It will build upon it. Move forward with calm strength. Move forward with steady vision. Move forward knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by. What aligns with your path will remain. What does not align will fall away without struggle. You are ready. You are grounded. You are clear. And as you step into this new chapter, may confidence rise within you like light at dawn. May peace guard your thoughts. May discernment guide your decisions. And may divine assurance surround you in every direction. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of walking it with open eyes. Stand firm. Walk boldly. And trust fully. As you step forward in this divine clarity, there are countless others still waiting for their moment of understanding. When you sow through Super Thanks, become a channel member, or give through PayPal using the link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are helping this message reach hearts standing in their own season of reflection. The Lord declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and your seed becomes light planted in someone else's darkness. I know there are viewers thinking, "I want to be part of advancing this mission." This is your appointed moment to act. Let your generosity become a river that carries God's word farther than we could alone. As you give, may clarity, provision, and favor overflow back into your life. So boldly, step forward in obedience now.